Hello, friends. This can you all hear us now? We are just waiting for the host to join us. There's Here is me, Kalpana Patange and Devika Chatterjee. Devika will be introducing you. Just give us a few minutes. There were some technical glitches from the Aditya Birla side, and therefore we had to redo this. So just give us a few minutes.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon.
Hello, welcome Darshana ma'am. So this is a webinar and teachers, around 310 teachers have joined. We are still going about sharing, people are joining it.
Yes.
Once we cross, reach 500, the YouTube link will be shared here on the group so that the others can join. I think some 1,000+ teachers are waiting to hear you.
So much.
And Devika Chatterjee ma'am is here to introduce you. So Devika, you are ready?
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think it's wonderful that so many of our teachers have waited back to learn from a visionary and a great educationist. I have the privilege of introducing Mrs. Darshana Dabke, who has 25 years of experience in teaching, training, and mentoring pre-primary and primary educators across India and various education boards. She has demonstrated strong leadership skills by successfully leading a co-ed CBSE school. Her academic qualifications include an ECCED, a B.Ed honors degree, and a diploma in early years education and pedagogies from CCE, Finland, and AIC Singapore. She also holds certification from the University of Pennsylvania. Ms. Dabke is known for her open mindset and eclectic teaching approach, ensuring her methods meet modern educational standards and requirements. She currently works with a renowned publishing house where she heads the production department and oversees content and editorial work for K-12 education. She's a sought-after speaker, having been invited to various platforms such as ECA, APER, and ENARK education. Additionally, she designs curricula and conducts school audits based on specific requirements. Her blogs have been published on the official website of CCE, Finland, and marking her first global steps to share her work with global educators. Welcome, Ms. Dabke, and we are honored that you are among us today. Thank you, Ms. Kalpana, for arranging this webinar, and apologies to everybody once again for the delay. Let's move ahead and start this process of learning. Thank you.
Just can I add, teachers, if you have any questions, you may put in the chat box. If after the session there is time, ma'am will address. If not, we will send those questions to her and she can answer and we'll share the answers with you all. Over to you, ma'am.
Yes. Thank you so much, Kalpana ma'am and Devika ma'am. I'll request, I'll need to share the presentation.
Yes.
I'll just do that. Give me a minute to do.
Yes.
Given, ma'am.
Is Peyton
You've got that.
sharing the
Yeah. You can try. So there are 423, ma'am, just for your information. And the YouTube.
That's really nice.
Yeah. So many enthusiastic educators waiting.
Just give me a bit, please.
Yes. We can see your screen, ma'am.
I hope you all can hear me too.
Yes, we can hear you and
Yes.
see your screen.
Okay, thank you so much. Let me know when I can begin, ma'am. So,
Please begin.
Please start.
Yes,
okay,
please start.
okay. So, thank you so much for your kind words, and we're going to take a look at two sections eventually. The first one is foundational literacy, which I'm conducting today. And thereafter, we will be going to numeracy in our second section later. So as preschool educators and primary educators, the only focus rather of the parents and the teachers is always numeracy and literacy. So
Signal lost.
so what is there in literacy that we need teaching, having references with our textbooks and charts and everything. But what is that X factor? Have understand what is how to take this about in the classrooms. So when we come to, my name is Darshna, and ma'am has already introduced me so with her kind words. So a little bit about myself. So I have started my career in education as a pre-primary educator, and began with the small steps. And now, after almost 30 years, and I have luckily I've had a session today morning also, and with today's session, I mark the footstep of completing training teachers in pre-primary and primary education. So I've completed 15,000 teacher training sessions, and I've trained 15,000 teachers today. So it's going to be a big day for me today, and having all of you, and especially having Devina ma'am on the screen is overwhelming for me. Devina ma'am, I have been a part of an school that you were in the past, and it's immense pride to present in front of you and have you here on screen. And what to say when it comes to fellow educators, I instead of describing what I've achieved, the only thing that keeps me alive today is the passion that is in me, it is in you, and in all the educators who are going to be present over here. So let's take the one step forward and understand what is all this about. So there's a little quote that I would like to begin with, stating that young children learn best with hands-on experiences. So it's ideal to make learning real by teaching it in the context of everyday learning. Today, we will explore understanding what literacy is all about and how to integrate that into our routines and rituals. So instead of just taking the bookish knowledge, always how to have hands-on experiences is something very important. And in today, how to have all these things in a playway method, in an environment that children can adapt to, is what we are going to look into today's session. So what are we going to do in today's session is understand what is early literacy, also understand the importance of language skills, and how to integrate literacy. This is very important factor into a child's routine, and explore and discuss a few fun ways to engage children in literacy engagements or activities. As ma'am said earlier, that any questions that you have, we will definitely address you throughout this workshop. And there's a question which says that, is this a primary workshop? This is basically focused on foundational years. So we're going to address the age group of children right from nursery to grade 2. So in some schools, they have sections of pre-primary and primary separately, but I'm going to address the foundational years today. So let's begin with the first activity over here. And what can you see on the board right now on the screen? What can you see? What all can you see today? Can you see many words over here? Can you just tell me what are the words that attract you the most? When I talk about literacy, what is that you think about? There are so many words on the screen right now. So which is the word that pulls you near when I say this word literacy, what is that which attracts you or which you think that literacy is? Reading is something that somebody has said. Well, when we talk about literacy, it's about so many things. It's not just about learning letters and writing writing the script, but so many things. So I'll read out a few words, It says reading, it says literacy, skills, a library, learning, community, support, help, work, read, books, language, and the list is endless if you go to see when it comes under, literacy. So what we are going to do in literacy, when we say literacy, why it is important? Now just imagine you have come from your home to your school. Can you just recall and see that where all have you seen letters when you have come from your school uh, to this place wherever you are sitting? So as soon as you get up in the morning, then you go to your kitchen, then you dress up, you go to work, and all the things. How do you see that? What are where all you can see letters? Can you tell me where all you can see letters? In reading, yes, in reading, in education skills, in and around you, where do you see letters? Where do you see letters when you, as soon as you get up in the morning till you come to your school or your workplace, where do you see letters? It's all around you. You see letters, where do you see words? Where do you see sentences? In your daily. We see words on the calendar, we see numbers, we see words also, we see words on labels, we see letters and words on the newspaper. When we are going on the road, there are boards, there are shops which have headers. So there are letters over there. And in our daily life, letters reading is very important. But the base of all this reading begins very early in the nursery class when you enter school. So that's when the literacy steps in, and that's when you start teaching letters to the children, later on the sounds, and then allowing them to make sentences. This is how the progression happens later on. Eventually, in your higher grades, you are properly literate, which we say, and you start studying. So letters, reading, all this is very important and part of our daily, life, and not just restricted to schools. Now, there are 4 important language skills that are required when you're teaching literacy. Well, you are already teaching them, letters and introduction to letters and all. But the major factor that you need to understand is a language or a literacy. 4 important skills in language are listening, speaking, reading, and writing. Now here in the image, because it's a header, it's written in a sequence which says reading, writing, listening, speaking. But actually, it has to be listening, speaking, reading, and then writing. You can see on this screen that when we learn a language, there are 4 skills as discussed. When we learn a native language, we usually learn to listen first. Now, all of us have mother tongue. My mother tongue is Marathi. Your mother tongue may be Hindi, Gujarati, Urdu, Malayalam, Kashmiri, anything. But at home, do we need to understand the letters? Or have you ever realized that a mother making the child sit near and say, this is the grammar, this is the way you're going to say? You just learn the language and you just excel in it. And all of that happens just by listening. And then we speak. So whichever language your mother is communicating or your caretaker is communicating with you, you will speak that language. Later on in the life, maybe you will start reading and writing it. But when these 4 language skills come into the classroom, or what my observation has been, is that whether they are teachers or whether they are parents, their focus is always writing. So they evaluate the understanding of the child only on writing. But if you observe this triangle or this pyramid given right on the screen, says that listening is the maximum. You need to listen first, understand, then convert that listening to speaking. Further on, when you're listening and speaking and that directionality is correct, then you go on to move on to reading, and then the last peak at the peak is writing. But what do we usually do? It's the other way around. The triangle is inverted. We will ask the children to write, even they have not developed, the sense of graphemes. That is, making, connecting two sounds and making a word. Still, we are asking the children to write 2-letter, 3-letter, 4-letter. And in numeracy, I have seen the children are made to write number names till 100, even if they do not understand the value of that number. But what should our focus be? Our focus has to be to concentrate on listening skills, developing listening skills first, then speaking skills, then reading, and then writing. So this is the pillar of language, on which the base of language, of any language stands, is on all these 4 skills. So equivalently, we have to see that these steps are followed. This is also called as LSRW. Many teachers must be writing in their lesson plans also the LSRW skills that are, adapted in a particular activity. So this is how it has to go. Now, what we understood earlier were the 4 pillars of language. Okay. Listening, speaking, reading, writing, and always remember the triangle, that in what format it grows. Now, before reading or before developing literacy, early literacy skills are something which is very, very important. Now, why am I addressing this is that we have to, there is a difference between letters and letter sounds. Never ever merge those two and, complicate the child. The child has to be told that this is a letter name, as I and you have a name, and this is the sound of that letter. When this clarity is given right from the beginning, right from the first day you're teaching the child the lesson, you will have clarity further also. Eventually, when the child learns how to spell, if this clarity is given at a very base level, initially, the child will not have any problems phonetically writing the words. So letter knowledge is something that happens first in the classroom. Then comes the narrative skills, then the awareness of phonological sensitivity, print awareness, which is very, very important later on, print motivation, and lastly, vocabulary. Now, these are all 6 early literacy skills that we need to integrate in the classroom sequentially. How do we do it? We will discuss. Here. Now, you can see in this slide, it's divided into 3 parts. Okay. One part is the oral language. One part is the alphabetical code. And the third part is print knowledge. Now, this is a very easy way. This is very technical, but it's very important and essential for us to understand as teachers. When we are developing lesson plans in the classroom, we just focus on writing that introduction of X letter, writing of X letter, assessment of X letter. But where does this fit in? Is it fitting in oral language development? Is it coming under alphabetical code? Or is it coming under print knowledge? Now, what are the three differences over here? Oral language. In nursery class, you will observe that all the sessions that we take are mostly oral. So we have rhymes, we have stories, and we have introduction to letters and letter friends, where there is oral work, more of oral or more of speaking, which is encouraged. The teacher also does a lot of speaking because you want the child to listen. So we'll go back to the triangle. When we're talking about the triangle, we have to develop listening skills. So initially, it's the teacher who's speaking and orally is giving instructions, is showing concepts so that the child develops the comprehension, listening to what the teacher has to say. It can be a read aloud. It can be a small puppet which is enacting and showing a particular concept. Then when this part comes where you are actually introducing the alphabet, the code. So what is alphabetical codes? Same thing, that every alphabet has a name, it has a sound. And when two sounds come together, we come up across with a, a new sound, a third sound, and we read words. And eventually, as the readiness is there, they start developing from sight words, CVC words, 2-letter, 3-letter word families, and the vocabulary develops. So that comes under alphabetical code. Now, what comes under print knowledge? The concepts that are displayed all around you in the classroom, in the corridor, and also in and around the environment. As I just asked you a question initially, that where all can you see print? You can see print also, when you're on the road, when you're in the house, when you're at school, when you're on the garden, on the gate. There are signs and symbols, there are letters, there are words, there are concepts will come in literacy. So oral language, alphabetical code, and print knowledge concepts. So these are the three concepts that come in literacy. So let me just take a recap and go back to the 2 slides that we did earlier, just for you to gain the understanding once more. First was the 4 important language skills: listening, speaking, reading, and writing. Second, we spoke about the pyramid, that what has to be maximum: listening skills. Later on develops the speaking, then the reading, and lastly, writing. We moved on to 6 early literacy skills. So even before the children are just writing, these are the skills that we need to develop. The awareness needs to be developed. It goes from letter knowledge to narrative skills to phonological sensitivity, print awareness, motivation, and vocabulary. Now, we just spoke about literacy, which is divided into 3 main sections: oral language, which develops the listening comprehension and the vocabulary, and also listening skills. Alphabetical codes, where the phonological awareness is there, an ability to, decode the words and, join them and make a third sound and third letter. Where this is when the vocabulary development also happens, the word bank increases. And lastly, the print knowledge of concepts, the, prints in the environment, the scripts in the environment, in the school, at home, on the road. So the subtly environment is a third teacher, is always said, first teacher. So this is how the child will also learn scripts and print from the environment, not only in the classroom. Now, first, oral language. We just spoke about it, that when you're at home as a small toddler, the first language that you learn from is your caretaker or mother, and that's your mother tongue. And you do not need any interpreter or someone to explain you that this grammatically is correct or incorrect. Everybody starts learning by listening. Now, if you see on the screen, there is something known as, there's a small image which says developmental milestones. It's very, very important to understand these milestones because the child learns as per the readiness, as per the milestone. It's not correct to expect a lot from a child before the child has reached that particular milestone. Now, if you can see here at 3 months, the child is cooing and gurgling and making sounds. At 6 months, it's babbling, ba, ba, ba. It babbles, it tries to speak. At 12 months, they come up with first words, mama, papa. Then 18 months, they are going to anywhere from 5 words to 40 words. They'll start pointing out to objects, holding objects and trying to say, two words beginning with single words. Then see the vocabulary, how it's development. In the second year, they're almost speaking 300 words. In the third year, around 900 words. In the fourth year, around 2000 words and 5+ word sentences they can speak at a stretch. And in the fifth year, they can create their own sentences. And this is when the reading readiness also develops much further, and you have emergent readers at that level. So it's very important. Why am I sharing this slide with you? Because sometimes as educators and even parents, there is a lot of comparison. There is a lot of, expectation from every child. I'm sure you all are aware that every child learns at their own pace. Every child has a different pace of learning, different, the whole class will not be learning even if you're teaching the same concept, the way they are going to learn, the way they are going to integrate it and understand it is going to be different. There are levels. So we have to also design our activities or design our, mostly instructions that we give children according to the age group that they fall into. I've seen many times that, when giving instructions to very young children, multiple instructions, they do not understand. You have to break down the instructions and tell them. Even when you're talking to them or when you're narrating a story or you're asking, just communicating with them, your pace of talking, that is the speed of words that you're using. Now, what I'm using with you right now, my pace of talking, is because you are adult. But if there is a child, I want to speak such long sentences. I will break down my instruction into 2, 3 sub sentences and, try to speak that, because the child takes time to listen and comprehend and then understand. So that's very important for you to understand what is the milestone of the child, in which way I have to organize my activities, in which way I'm going to have instructions. So you need to have that kind of connection and understanding of a child, of the grade which the child is. And how do you do all this? How do you encourage the child to speak in the classroom? Mostly you will see when in nursery, after their settling period, not all children talk much. Some children will, wait for clues for you. They need a little bit of sentence starters. They need a little bit of encouragement from you to, communicate or ask for something. Many children also use sign language. I have seen, I'll give you my own example. I had seen a child in my classroom who would always say, teacher, 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 and would avoid saying the word that I want water or I'm thirsty. When I observed the child for quite some time, and I also spoke to the parent and understood that the child was never encouraged to speak. Whenever the child wanted something, before the child wanted something, it was given to the child. So the child did not understand how to ask for, how to use the right words for. So encouraging the child to speak, giving some clue words, some clue sentences will help you. Now let's see, how do we encourage all that? Encourage conversations. Now, have you all very common scene in all preschools mostly, and even in grade 1, is that the teachers say, what is this? This is a balloon. What is this? This is an apple. So before the children even ask for or try to answer, the answer is given to the children. So there is no encouragement for the children to be interactive. There has to be two-way communication. As a teacher, if you're just going to talk, if you're just going to, have it one way, you will never allow the child to speak. You have to ask the child to speak also. So what is the way? Encourage conversation. Now, how do you encourage conversation in the classroom? Can you give me one or two examples? If you can just give in the chat box, what way do you think you can encourage conversations in the classroom? How do we do it? How do we encourage conversation? How do we encourage children to speak in the classroom? Can we just encourage by asking them question answers? Asking them about their house first, very nice. Group discussion, very nice. Ask them about what they did at home. Yes, asking them about the weekend. Absolutely right. You can ask them about all these things. But, activities like circle time, during circle time, having an object and speaking about it, or having a common object and asking them to speak about it, or if there is a particular festival, rightly said that you can ask what they have done, what they are wearing. This is how you encourage conversation. Asking questions and waiting for the answer instead of giving them the answers. Model them a structure. For example, you in a circle time, you can have a statement and say, I am feeling happy today because I ate my favorite breakfast. And then you ask another child. So when you model this kind of talking, they are going to give them sentence structures, give them modeling, and they are going to speak about it. When you're talking to children, when you're interacting with them, give that eye contact to that child. Get the child near you. If you think the child is not talking enough, you can just get the child near you, talk to the child, give eye contact. It will help. It will surely give the child the comfort, and it will also give the child the courage to speak in front of a group. Ask them to speak loudly. If the child is sometimes, it is quite possible that the pronunciation is incorrect, or maybe the child is not saying the right word. Please do not correct the child directly. No, this is wrong. Not like this. Do it like that. Don't do like this. Don't say like this. No, we don't do that. What do? We encourage the child. And instead of cutting the child when the child is speaking, you give small clues to the child. Speak to the child. Give them side coaching so that their conversation is not disrupted or disrespected. That's very important when you're to keep in mind when you're dealing with small children. I know we are all adults, and sometimes we feel, many a times it has also happened that when when I was a preschool teacher, I had little ones coming and correcting me. It is possible it happens to you in your classroom as well. Then what do you do? Are you going to say that I am the teacher and I know more than you? No. You have to encourage the child. You have to listen to the child, give a listening ear to the child, understand and respect. If you are wrong somewhere and the child is correcting you, you have to respect that, because you are role model for the child. So when you do it, when it is the other way around, when you are also correcting the child during a particular, pronunciation, or, explaining a particular thing, they will respect you and they'll listen to you. They'll not feel harmed that, I've said something wrong. They will not go in a shell. They will listen to you. What if there is a tone to talk in the classroom also? Always remember, when oral language comes, tonation is very important. The way you're talking to the children, your pitch is important, your eye contact is important, your hand gestures are important. Do you think it's very necessary for you to scream and shout at a class that is, noisy, or maybe you want an attention from them? Oh, well, there are a lot of attention grabbers. You can just do it. I'll just do one for you right now, and you all can follow it with me. Let's say this activity is for you, so please do participate. If you can hear me clearly, clap once. If you can hear me clearly, clap twice. If you can hear me clearly, clap 4 times. If you can hear me, tap your nose. If you can hear me, pull your ears. So this kind of activity where, engagement when you're asking for the children's attention is going to be encouraging and, a subtle way of telling them instead of screaming and shouting at them. Your softer tone will give more attention. And, when you're talking, when you're doing story and you're using your animation, for example, uh, and there came a big wolf. Teeny, mini insect went crawling from here to there. So this is how your voice modulation, your tone is going to help in gathering attention and also allow the children to understand. Attend to listening skills. Yes, you can have a lot of listening skill activities also. And a very personal favorite of mine is question of the day. So you can take this activity up in your classroom. Many of you all have given so many questions in the chat box itself that ask them about their routine, their likes, their dislike, their show and tell, what they did with their parents, open-ended questions. That's really nice. You give open-ended questions so that every child has a different answer. Point to them to something and ask for it. Ask about their pets at home. So even if you have a question list ready for you, every day there will be a new question. The children will look forward for what you're going to tell them today, what you're going to ask them. It's going to be more engaging. Above all, they are going to ask for their opinions. Whether if you're doing a chart or if you're doing an activity or you're planning something, ask them what they would like to do. And you will see even the nursery kids or grade 1, grade 2 children are going to give you so many beautiful suggestions. And that's the best way you will be able to interact with them. So so far so good. If you are okay with the pace that I'm going, so that again, I have been, somebody's asking me, which grades is this training for? It is for foundational stage. So we're going to talk from nursery to grade 2, primary and pre-primary together. And Purvi Parekh has given a very beautiful statement saying appropriate rewards amalgamated with motivation can enhance the power of speaking a particular language. Absolutely true, Purvi. You've really given a very beautiful statement over here. Awards and rewards are something that will really encourage the children to speak more, interact more. And of course, that should be used in the classrooms as well. I'm going to move on to the next slide and let's come across a small activity. And each letter, this is about alphabet code. Each letter has a name and its own sound. And we're going to do understand about decoding. Quickly, if you can share 5 ways to introduce alphabets, you can list them down. If you're a pre-primary teacher. If you're a primary teacher, you're teaching grades 1 onwards, give me 5 ways to introduce or teach spellings to the children. Fun ways. I do not want any ways where they're writing it down in 10 times. So I'm just giving you, say, 2 minutes. Just think of 5, at least 3 each one of you, and give me fun ways. How would you introduce that? How would you introduce new spellings, or how would you, what kind of game or activity, engaging activity you would think about teaching new words or new letters? Your time starts now. I'm giving you 2 minutes. Okay, now let me see. I've got some interactions. Um, okay. Rewards can. Of course, we can have grade 4. Somebody is asking, can you talk about new things that you're teaching a child? How do you teach them difficult spellings? A fun way to teach them. Okay, if they come across big words, break down the spellings, matching spellings through cards. Okay, mnemonics, absolutely. Correlating with pictures, dictionary, thesaurus, we play. We can play, create songs, rap. Oh, that's lovely. You can teach spellings in a rap format. Okay. Crossword, yes, of course.
Teachers, I think they've got logged out, the speaker. I'm just trying to connect with her. If she could log back. Must have been some connectivity issue, I suppose. So just give me a few minutes, please. Yes, ma'am, you're back. Devika, ma'am, you had got logged out.
I know I'm back now. Thank you very much.
Yes, yes. You can continue.
I think internet is really, taking challenges with me today. Okay, so quick 5 ways. Sorry for the interruption. 5 things that we can do in the classroom. Puppets is one that I had said. Uh, Mystery, treasure hunt, where they have to I spy. These are some fun ways where they can hunt because children are basically curious in nature. When you're just going to show them a chart or show them a just a cutout, it's not going to help. Weave a story around it. What you introduce Mr. A, you get some characters. You introduce that particular letter in a fun format. Of course, you have rap songs and you have small jingles. You have rhymes. All that is attached to it. But that mystery should come. Now, how do you do this with into what they are going to do? You can play bingo game with them for spellings. You can, how you play crossword, cross and zero, X and zero. In the same format, you can give them 2 words and they can play it with their friends. Instead of just giving them all the words, Scrabble is one thing that you can introduce. You can give them letter tiles. Individually, every child can have a set of letter tiles, and then you can tell them that, give them points and rewards. Like if you make 4 words, you get these many points. If you make 3-letter words, you will get this point. And this is how you can introduce and increase, their vocabulary later. But in pre-primary section, towards almost till senior KG, when they are learning new words, when the alphabets are getting introduced in nursery and junior KG, whether they are uppercase or lowercase, curiosity is something that will help the children fetch and figure out and get into, get attracted to learn something. Limericks is what Prachi is also saying. Yes, of course you can have a lot of limericks around it, and children will keep that in mind. Again, listening skills, that's what they will understand. Even visually, when you are doing alphabets, or you're introducing a particular alphabet, especially in early years, you can show them human figures, or give them some ice cream sticks, some hands-on activity where they're actually constructing that letter through clay, or maybe with ice cream sticks or popsicle sticks. You give them some sand tray where they are tracing with their fingers. The learning will be much concrete because they are using hands-on experiences for that. Instead of just directly getting them on books and making them write in a particular way. So yes, this is how the name and the sound, even the sound of the letter, instead of just telling them a, and this is a, and this is the sound, and it is, the name is letter A, and just telling them like that. But if that is told in a fun way, with visual aids, it's definitely going to lay more impact. And yes, one thing to keep in mind, do not do too many things at the same time. Go slow on this. When one letter or 2 letter are formed, that identity is clear with all the children. As I mentioned earlier, also some children take some longer time to understand, then only move on to the next letter. uh, Even with spellings, do not give a big bank of 50 spellings at the same time. Go with 2 words, 3 words, and then you can bang on. You can just have a game where the children are learning a particular spelling as a password to the entering the classroom for that particular day. So they see the password, say the password, and then they can come in the classroom, enter the classroom. So this kind of an activity is fun for the children. They will remember that 1 word or 2 words a day is they're almost going to learn 10 new words in a week. And then maybe you in higher grades, that is grade 2, 3 onwards, you can take a dictation test also as a follow-up around how many words they have learned. They can also have their spelling book where they can whatever new words they are learning, they keep on entering and have their own spelling book. So yes, fun way and giving rewards when the children actually accomplish their task is something which is going to add on to your activities and engagement. Print knowledge. Making sense to the children that, whatever is there, around. Sometimes there are symbols which do not have any word. So, for example, if there is a, green dot on a particular package, it symbolizes that it is the product is vegetarian. Similarly, you can see, you must have realized, especially very, very young children, they can't read, but visually they will understand which channel is this. I've seen very young children swapping the phone and coming to the proper, looking at the symbol and logos, going to that particular channel. Or even when the children are out with their parents, when they are in an elevator, or maybe they are using a washroom in a theater, there are symbols and signs. So it's very important that the parents also, focus on that and show the children. Of course, all of these points you can discuss in your student parent orientation. And as a teacher, when you're taking the children out, visual aids that are around. And this is how the, print awareness comes. The best part to begin with is in the classroom when you're tagging all the objects or all the furniture in the classroom. That's the right way. See, maybe the child is unable to read all the words or that particular word at a lower level in nursery. But visually looking at it, have you seen that the cubbies in many schools have the child's name on it, but the child will exactly go there, even if the child is unable to read the word. So this is the awareness that you're creating as part of a print-rich environment. Charts, when you're putting charts in your classroom, see to it that they are at the eye level of the child. Generally in schools, you will see that the charts are very high and it is above the eye level of the teacher also. And the child is just 2.5, 3 feet high. So for a child to look at that chart also is going to be like a stress on the neck. And do you think the child is going to learn from a chart which is way high? It has to be somewhere on the eye level of the child where the child can go visually see. If you have touch and feel boards, nothing like it. If you can do something like that. So the, having print rich classroom is very, very healthy way of, encouraging the children for the awareness of prints around. So understanding print is not just understanding letters and letter names, but it is beyond that. Simple things when you're doing read aloud to the children, you can just run through the, with your pointer finger, run through the words. Even when, as emergent readers in grade 1 and 2, when you're encouraging the children to read, you encourage them to, run their pointer fingers. It will help them understand the directionality. Directionality in writing also has to be developed right from the early years. And even when they grow in, grade 1, 2, when they're writing a few sentences, this will help. Now, the problem many classrooms come up is, in directionality is for children who are left-handed. How to teach them? Because, they will have little bit of a problem initially to, get right from left to right. A child who is right-handed, it's easier because you're holding the child's hand in the, opposite direction. It's easier from inside to outside. But when a left-handed child is writing, it is little bit difficult initially because, for the child to write, the child is writing from inside margin, from the margin to the outside, but the hand directionality is from outside to inside, pulling towards. So, that time there will be a little issue, but, with a lot of practice, of course, hands-on practice, this will also be easier. And you have to model, whether it is reading or writing. As I said that, as a teacher, when you're reading, read aloud, you ask them to, finger trace. That will help. Even if there is a chart on the board, and you can use these small little, pointers, made very fancy pointers teachers make, where the child is, using the, pointer on the board or on the chart to read. This will also help in the understanding the directionality. So this is all about print knowledge and concepts. Now, how do we promote all print awareness? You all are aware that, these kind of objects, everything has to be labeled. But how do I do it in a classroom? How do I do so much in the classroom? Because I have charts to display and I have minimalistic wall. How do I go about it? So the way you organize, there are some pointers that I've listed down. You may have a lot more to display your classroom, depends on the size of your classroom also. But print awareness is not restricted only in the classroom. It has to be beyond the classroom also, in the corridors, on the steps, as I said, elevators, in the premises of the school ground, uh, is where you can tag and keep. Even in the garden area in your school, if the pre-primary section has a separate garden area, maybe you can also have a few, tags written over there about the objects, and also have a few, you can say, images over there, which can, which are visual learning aids for the children also, where they understand that, like for example, make a line, form a line, or be careful, or do not push. You get a lot of images. You can just put it up around your play area also, which the children will be safe, and visually they are reading also. So how you organize your books in your classroom is very important, because that's the first thing the children are going to see. The books in the mini library in your classroom, or maybe the way you are stacking up their books in the classroom, is what visually that organization is very important. Okay, these are the basics that you need to do. When you're reading to whether it is, you're having children all around you, you're sitting on a table and you have 4 children around you, and you're just doing one-on-one kind of reading activity with them, that time also they're observing you at all times. So the way you're going to point to the words, your pace, how you're going to slide your finger through the reading, how you're going to, draw, this will draw attention of the child. Exactly, if you're not going to do it, they will not know where to look for, what to follow. So that's going to really help. Labeling, teachers love labeling, and that really works miracles in the classroom. Whether it is table, chair, teacher's desk, door, window pane, windowsill, it's going to help. So do label in your classrooms everything that is, visually at the child's level mostly, and something that goes beyond a child's level may not attract as much as attention, but big bold words neatly labeled things will help. Now there is a visual over here which the teacher has tagged each container with the name, but along with that you can see there is also an image of that particular thing. So a lot of rebus reading happens at this age, where the children are also looking at the images and they are trying to read and understand the print. So this is something which works miracles in the classroom, labeling all the items. Encourage children to play with print. Now, how do you have that? How do they play? In preschool, of course, a lot of activities where, for example, the flashcards or the letter tiles are hidden in sand, or maybe you're asking them to air write, or maybe you're giving them wet cotton buds to write on slate and see how it writes, or magic painting. This works miracles in the lower levels. But in higher grades, when the children are actually writing, you can ask them to make their own checklist, shopping list, or, also, help each other, give them small tasks, and, pair them up in group and ask them to, write some, make birthday cards or write messages, and, exchange those goodies with each other. So this will really encourage them. It won't, and also you can, that can be a part of your assessment as well. It's not necessary every time you have to do an assessment, it has to be a worksheet, it has to be a page in the notebook or a textbook exercise. Come up with, fun ways where the children will write, where they will interact, and, understand, that print makes some sense. Okay. Spoken language and written language, it makes sense. This is something very important. For example, when I'm asking you to do something and when I ask you to write something, these are two different things. Okay, just verbally when you're saying a particular thing, and when you're making sense of it when it writes. For example, when I write a signboard, go or exit, and instead of that, I'm having an image. So, this will very wonderfully explain the children that this is where the, this particular symbol makes sense. It is making sense. It is saying that you need to exit from here. Or maybe, as I said, in the playground, if you're, putting a visual where the children are walking in the line, or even you're, on the road when they are seeing traffic signals. Those signals also make sense, when you are, when there is a hospital, there's a no honk zone. And those images they find, all around on the way to school, in the bus also that they are traveling will have a lot of images. So this is, you need to make awareness, need to point this out to the children that, see, this makes meaning, this means something. So this is how you can, create awareness in children and draw their attention in that particular way. Um, Again, the next part, that reinforce the forms and functions of print, point them out to classroom signs and symbols. Very, very important. This is one activity which I had done ages ago. And I had created a puppet of a book. And I wanted to teach parts of the book to the children, that this is the cover and this is the spine, these are the pages, and how to handle books. At very young age, if you show how you respect the books, how you are taking care of the books, and how are you taking care of the stationery, the children are going to observe you, and you are their role model, and they're going to do the same. You have to teach them how to be careful with pages, how to turn the pages, how to gently, take the book and keep the book back in, the same place that where you have taken it from. So these are some kind of engagements where you just don't verbally encourage, but you encourage by demonstrating it also. By doing it, they are going to observe you. If you are going to be, keeping the books neatly stacked, you will have four helpers coming and telling you, teacher, we'll do it for you. And this is how you will demonstrate and you will encourage these habits in your children as well. Allow the children to practice what they're learning. Do not have one-way conversation. Do not just put it, right on the board and tell them this is this thing and this has to be done this way. Allow them to, many a times we prohibit children from doing certain things because it will create a mess. Let them do the mess. Teach them how to wind that thing up also. Let them, feel it. Let them see that with their own eyes. See, sensory development is also happening in very early ages. When hands-on experiences are there, when they're going to touch, they're going to feel, they are going to collaborate with each other to construct or deconstruct something, that's when they are going to learn well. So whatever you are asking them to do, allow them to do it. You can't just tell them that you have to take care of the books. You're not supposed to do this. You're not supposed to do that. Allow them, give them the book, let them handle it. And I'm sure they're going to do a good job. They're going to really, really follow your instructions and observe you and immediately do. They pretend. Children like to pretend they're teachers. You'll see that when they're playing also, they will have some children sitting on the floor. Somebody is a teacher. And then, the way you are conducting your in the classroom, the same way they are going to do it in their, mini games and or play areas and in their pretend plays. So allow the children, even in their play areas, their pretend play areas, keep certain things where they can explore, and in their play also, they are demonstrating the learning that they have done. Only reading to the children, read aloud, is not going to help. Allow them to listen. Okay, listening to stories, allow them to visually see read alouds. Nowadays you will see a lot of read aloud videos also coming in. I'll ask the parents to do read aloud for them. So, when you're reading a story to them or something, where you want the children to develop the listening activities, let it be in multiple ways. Ask them to close their eyes and maybe you narrate a story to them. Ask them them. One day, audiovisual, you show them a narration of a book. You'll have many authors who are doing read alouds also. So that is what you can encourage also. And when you are reading a story to them, someday, after maybe you've repeated that story 2-3 times, 4th time, maybe you call out a child and say, do a read aloud with the classroom. Maybe they cannot read each and every word. They will need your help, but they will do a fabulous job. This is how you will also promote print awareness, not in the classrooms, in the book, and in the engagements that they are going. Vocabulary. This happens at all times, everywhere. When you're developing vocabulary, these are only 8 things that I have listed over here, but I'm sure you must be having hundreds of ideas how and which fun way we will develop the child's vocabulary. Here, I've written word wall, developing a word bank, word games, board games, using drama for learning, show and tell activities, guess the word, and word of the day, and word bingo. So can you think about some more activities that you can engage in developing vocabulary for children, even at lower level and even in primary level? I'm giving you 2 minutes, just think about it and put it on the chat box. So we'll have few more ideas other than that are listed over here. 2 minutes for you.
Ma'am, please let me know when you want to do the question and answer.
Yes. Just give me 2 minutes to just wind up.
Yes.
Ma'am, do you want question and answer at the end of the session or you want in between?
No, end. You finish because then
Yes,
your flow gets cut. No?
Yes. So I'm having somebody's requesting to activate the chat option. So if
Oh, it's not active. Okay, let
no,
me
for
check.
some members. Oh, this is lovely word Antakshari. I just loved it. Same meaning matching game. Lovely. That's a different tongue twisters. Fabulous. Story time role play, dodging the word card. That's nice. Using affirmation and practicing different idioms on daily basis. Wow, Pooja Shroff, this is something amazing. Jigsaw puzzles, yes. Okay, give a very long word and the children make small words. See, amazing. See, this is, I'm developing games over here. You all are already fabulous. So I've just listed 8 and so many more games. So if you can just list it down, all the teachers, you will just see that you already have a bank of games which you can use in your classrooms. Okay, this is nice. You have a vocabulary tree in the classroom and every time a child comes up with a new word, we'll paste a leaf. That's very nice. Guess the word. Yes, very nice. Say the word which starts with the same letter. Very much like a word Antakshari. Word treasure hunt. Lovely. Vocabulary charades. Okay, that's really nice. Rhyming words. Okay. Oh my, this is lovely. So see, so many games we can come up with just developing vocabulary. How engaging and how interesting this whole engagement and so many engagements while you're developing vocabulary, when you're developing print reach classroom, when you're having collaborations with children to, this activity which someone just mentioned that, we have a tree and the children just come up with new words and paste. This is a collaborative activity, a class activity. Imagine how many words the child will develop just in a playway method in the classroom. So this is how the teaching learning process has to be fun and engaging, both for teacher as well as the student.
Excuse
My
me,
favorite,
can I
read and
just
use.
interrupt? The chat option they were
Yes.
asking for. So those who want to put in a
Yes,
question, go
yes.
to Q&A, not the chat. Go to the Q&A option and please type it and we can see then your questions. Yes, ma'am. You can
Yes,
continue.
yes, yes. Reading aloud, very, very important, not only for the teacher, but also parents at home. To explain this further, I have a small film for you. I hope it works. And I hope this works. Otherwise, what I can do is I'm going to ask the organizers to share this video with all of you, so you can, witness it in your school also. I'm jumping to writing. So again, there are some fun ways. How do you write? Now, this is for children who are little grown up. Read, copy, write is a method that personally I would tell all the teachers to follow in their classrooms. Please don't make the children write the words too many times. Do not encourage too much of rote. Give them fun words to write. Encourage rainbow writing. They love rainbow writing, using different colorful mediums to write. For writing, definitely I would promote cheat sheets to the children, because they are emergent writers. They need little hand holding, and it's absolutely fine to give them little cheat sheets when you're playing a word bingo game, or maybe you're giving them a puzzle to do. Give them little nudge, give them little sentence starters. I can, I will, we should, and you, and then just pass the word, and you'll see during circle time. So even during engagement, they'll come up with so many new sentences. Word building games are there. We just came up across with how to build spellings, but similar way you can have the word building games that you just, for example, I just write and then I add it at. This is how the word will develop, and from one letter to maybe 5 and 6 letters, they can keep on adding and making a new sentence. Writing prompt and clues. And fifth one, very, very important for all of you to pay attention, especially the senior KG and the grade 1 teachers. It's very, very important about copywriting. Now, why copywriting? I've always seen the grade 1 teachers complain that the teachers in the senior KG have not done enough. The children now in the first standard, they're not writing fast. They are, they are too slow. They are still not prepared. They are not prepared with sentence writing. What happens when the child is in a senior KG structure? The environment is completely different. The tasks and engagements are completely different. They are given little tasks, but when they come to grade 1, they suddenly have subjects. They suddenly have a lot of notes to be copied from the board. They have question answer formats which are not practiced in senior KG. So there's this big gap. So what do? A copywriting has to actually begin in the senior KG itself. Not copywriting in the notebook, but copying something from the board in their notebook. It can be an illustration to begin with, a small shape to begin with, and then adding up some words to begin with and sentences. That's how when they go to grade 1, they will be prepared to write. Now, when I'm saying write, that does not mean you give them tasks, full page bhar bhar ke. Please, no, not for that. Just for a small fun activity, just give them a small figure, one word, because they will understand what is to copyright, and do not correct them that this is incorrect, write on the line, this was not done, that was not done. Give them some time, they will do a good job. But copywriting, encouraging copywriting from senior KG will definitely help the grade 1 teachers, because at least the children have developed the sense of what is copywriting, then to directly come to grade 1 and start doing it. And of course, as I mentioned, that give them small writing tasks, which will, encourage them to write more. Give them rewards. When they complete small tasks, give them some rewards, and it will help. And I have kind of finished my presentation here, but I will definitely want you to ask me questions. And what was the game for idioms? You have to come up with new games. Okay, you have to come up with your new games, come up with an idea, sit with the children and come up with games. So basically, you can have a word antakshari, you can just, make up your own games. They don't have to be traditional games. Give them encouragement, give them one word, ask them to, add up more words, make bigger words, play bingo, play word antakshari. A lot you can do, and be creative in that field. Uh, Kalpana ma'am, I would be open for question answers.
Sure. So, teachers, please put in questions if you have. And I think some of you who are on the YouTube are the ones who are not able to put in the Q&A or any feature. So
I would definitely recommend one thing, ma'am, that
yes,
there are lots and lots of beautiful ideas that have been shared in the interaction right from the beginning.
right.
So teachers, you can make your own big bank of these games and ideas that have been shared. And, they're marvelous. So it's not necessary that that particular, engagement is taken the way it is. You can tweak it and make it, according to your requirement in the classroom. Whether you're teaching sentences, whether you're teaching letters, tweak it according to your requirement of the, age group and use them. There are some brilliant by Praj.
Teachers, Darshana ma'am has been reading out the answers as well as the questions as and when she is going. So whatever you're hearing, some of them are saying that they can't see other people's chat. You don't need to because she's reading out anyway.
Yes, I have addressed all the questions almost.
Yes.
And there is a beautiful question that has come up, how to identify the students of multiple intelligences. Well, there is something known as know your learner, which you need to focus and see and observe, because this is based on your observation and the multiple intelligences. So you have to see what the child is liking through their regular, classroom engagements. When you're talking to a child, you'll see that a child is musically inclined. So maybe when some children, they talk a lot, they are, word smart, they want to speak, their language skills are stronger. Some children, the numeracy is very stronger. So you have to identify, you have to know your learner, you have to make your own notes and then decide what is the multiple intelligence of that child. And it is not fixed for life. And a child may be, having 2, 3 intelligences, maybe 5, 6 also. It keeps on changing according to their age criteria also. But that's a brilliant question to ask, to tap, how to tap the multiple intelligence. So whenever you're having an engagement or doing an activity in your classroom, you design it such a way that, you have music in it, you have some word game in it, you have some movement in it. And this will help you to tap at least 5, 6 intelligences in the classroom itself. Using colorful pencils to write hard words. Yes, rainbow writing. I will definitely, advocate it. Definitely. For chat session, please come to the Q&A session, ma'am. Okay, that's very nice. Adding one word and, building a story, spinning a story. Amazing. For that, I'll give you one more idea also. So instead, you can just have a cube which has different images, or, or you can just have chits which have just images. For example, you can just have those, images where the child can open, and rebus reading is what that is this game for. And you can ask them to build a story. That's amazing. What is my opinion about cursive writing? Should we make it compulsory? Some students find it difficult to write in cursive. Regarding cursive writing, it is a way of writing. I personally feel that, every child should have the independence to write the way they want to, but it is up to the discretion of the school, because many traditional schools do still follow, cursive writing format. There is a plus point also about it. There is rhythm in writing in cursive. There is a particular rhythm that the child follows. when it comes to neatness, legibility, the way it is read, presentation, all this comes in copywriting. So, of course, the children who are left-handed may have little difficulty initially, but I won't say it should be compulsory. It is up to the management discretion whether they want it or they do not want it. So, my opinion is that the child should have free hand. And sentence building game, hopscotch, of course, it is kinesthetic way of learning the spellings. So, of course, when multiple intelligences, you want the children to move. Hopscotch is one of the best games. Picture dictation for vocabulary building, of course, yes. Board games, yes. We can build on their thinking skills and vocabulary by having an activity where the teacher gives them start to story and the child builds the word. Yes, Trish, that's right. You can, give them a provocation and ask them to build a story around the words or images that you have given. So yes, that's absolutely correct. Kalpana ma'am, I think I have answered all the questions thrown so far.
Oh, that's great. I think you've been very time conscious also. Our session was till 4:30. And I must, Devika ma'am, I was having some issues, so she's joining back. But
Yes.
on her behalf, let me give you the vote of thanks. There. Devika ma'am, you're there?
Yes, yes, very much. Please
Yes.
continue.
No, I was going to give the vote of thanks, but
Yes, I
please
know.
go ahead.
I heard you as I entered.
Please go ahead.
I think there is no need to thank our workshop leader today. The reason being that the thank you can be seen through the responses and the questions, the amount of creativity that she has already generated. I think is very, very palpable that the thank you is coming from all our teachers who've joined the webinar today. Thank you very, very much. And we hope that we will have the opportunity to learn together again. Thank you from
Yes,
the
ma'am.
Unaided Schools Forum.
I
And
will.
Kalpana has already said that we are so glad that you adhered to the time limits and you finished on time. And apologies once again to everybody for the technical glitch, which we tried very hard to resolve. I'm
Yes.
glad that it could be done.
I'm
Thank you all.
very grateful.
Thank
and
you so much for giving me this opportunity. And the participants are amazing and vibrant. And I can see how they are interacting and, opening up and sharing their own ideas with the other participants. So this forum is all about that where there is a lot of sharing and learning to take away. So thank you so much for inviting. And I'm sure I'm going to meet you again for the numeracy that will follow up at the end of this month.
We are looking forward. And
We
as
are looking forward to it
Deepika
for
ma'am
sure.
said, the teachers must really praise them for being so active.
Yes.
They've been putting in answers as ma'am has been speaking. So thank you, teachers, each one of you.
I'm really, really impressed with that Antakshari suggestion.
Yes.
That was really
Yes.
nice, especially for the
All
young
the
ones.
suggestions are brilliant. Yes.
Yes, brilliant suggestions.
So
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. We'll meet next time soon.
you.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you,
Bye.
ma'am. Yes.